authentically good story with interesting characters who just naturally, when they are in situations together, the scenes are going to organically be ridiculous. And so you don't have to like really work to find the joke and then just like really run that joke until it is tired. You can just set these two characters in an
toothpaste, apples, bread. That's my shopping list. Hey everybody, welcome back to Clued and Clueless. Is that a good joke?
That's me blinking twice. That's the help. That's the help blink.
You should learn more.
I'm being kept here against my will. Anyway.
Hi everyone, I'm Mario.
That horrible joke aside, I'm Kristen.
And once again, I am clueless.
Yeah. Back with another episode, hitting you with another one for Clued and Clueless. So how's your week been? When's the last time we recorded? We recorded last
Friday.
Okay, so not too long ago.
Yeah, I don't know what today is.
Today's Wednesday.
Okay, awesome. Yeah, not too long ago.
Okay, cool. That's what's up. Wednesday.
Middle of the week. Woo! It's been like go, for me. It's been busy. It's about to get even busier for me.
I know, you have some shoots coming up. That's really exciting.
A couple shoots.
Yeah.
It's gonna be a fun time.
And are you script supervising for all of them?
Script supervising.
Heck yeah. That's really cool. I think that I don't think I'd be very good at that.
You're just taking notes, all day.
But you're maintaining
continuity.
Yeah. Imagine being script supervisor on everything everywhere all at once.
That'd be fun.
It would be fun.
I wonder if I can
you need a lot of eyes on that. I feel
meet them up on an IMDb or LinkedIn or something. Like, hey, can I pick your brain?
Yeah, probably.
Yeah.
Yeah. That should be pretty easy. Yeah. Cool. Well, so I thought long and hard about what we should watch next.
Yeah.
Okay. Because I got a lot of things going on up here in ye old brain. But a lot of the things that I was thinking of to have us watch next were still either within the rom-com, which we haven't really done a rom-com yet, but the rom-com that I wanted to have you watch was a wedding themed. So there's a couple things that, we just did Bridesmaids. So
So you're still on this wedding mindset?
Well, a lot of listen, I like rom-coms. A lot of those have weddings in them. Yeah. Okay, just by default. So I was trying to think, I was like, where do we go from here? Because I was also thinking musicals, and I was like, but we just did Beauty and the Beast, right?
It's like a musical rom-com.
No. It's not. It's not a musical rom-com. I'm trying to steer away. I'm trying to pivot a little bit.
We're pivoting. Okay.
Yeah, we're trying to pivot. So, I need you to watch Friends so bad, dude. Anyway, it hurts me. I can't make some references. Anyway, so good pivot, right? We've watched a movie now with Melissa McCarthy.
Yes.
And we watched a movie with Sandra Bullock.
Oh.
So now I'm going to have us watch a movie with both of them in it.
Nice.
Can you guess what movie it is?
I believe it's called Heat, right?
The Heat.
Heat. Okay. Yeah. I remember seeing trailers for this one. Never seen it, but I always wanted to actually.
Funny movie. I haven't seen it in a while. But I remember laughing my little booty off. Me and my family think that this movie's so funny. So I'm excited to watch it again because it's also a pretty quotable movie. Maybe not as much as Bridesmaids.
Yeah.
But it's a quotable movie. And it's just so funny. And I love Melissa McCarthy and I love Sandra Bullock. I think that you're really going to like this movie.
Okay, awesome. Yeah, I love them both also. I think we actually just saw Melissa McCarthy at the Oscars.
Oh, in person.
Yeah, in person. We were there.
Remember? Yeah, on the red carpet. Right.
You didn't see Sandra Bullock there.
That's weird.
Yeah,
I saw her.
Oh.
She was at the after party, but I don't think
I was
that
at
you
the
got.
Wrong party.
We didn't. I was trying not to mention that to you.
But no, yeah, it's gonna be awesome. I've always wanted to see this movie, so I'm really excited.
Do you
watch
know?
it.
So you know the trailers. So do you remember the concept of the film at all?
I just know they're special agents or something like that, right?
Yeah.
That's really all I know.
Okay, that's good. Okay. No, I'm very excited for you to see this.
Okay.
So, to give you a little background, this movie came out in 2013.
That's 2 years after Bridesmaids? Because I think Bridesmaids came in 2011.
I think it was 2011.
Yeah.
If I remember. Yeah. So just a little bit after both of these. Sandra Bullock at this point is obviously very established in her career. Melissa McCarthy, I'm trying to see how much she had done before this. That was very well known. Let me see.
And while you're looking at that, speaking of that, going back to...
Melissa McCarthy was in Thor, Love and Thunder.
I guess. Today I learned. I think was she a voice? She had to be a voice. I watched that movie.
It says actor Gila. I don't know what that means.
Okay. I think they're in the very beginning of the movie or something like that. They're reenacting like what happened in the previous Thor movie.
Okay.
It's like this little bit that they did.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Okay, I remember that now.
I didn't see it.
Yeah.
Anyway, sorry, I interrupted you.
No. Speaking of you looking up people, I went back because I was curious. I was like, why was John Hamm uncredited, right?
Oh, yeah.
And it was because John Hamm didn't really do much from that point. Like, that was, like, I want to say his first big comedy role.
Oh, really? So he wasn't John Hamm yet?
No, like, I guess if you're a real big John Hamm, you'd be like, oh my god, John Hamm. But he was only doing, like, Mad Men, for however many years. From 2006 to, like, 2013 it was, like, right?
Yeah.
But that was, like, his biggest thing. Other than that, he was doing, like, very, like, small leading roles. To me, the first time I was introduced to John Hamm was seeing the Black Mirror Christmas episode.
Oh, I didn't know he was in Black Mirror.
Yeah, he was, like, in one of their big, like, Christmas specials, I believe is, like, what it was.
Yeah.
So that was, like, the first time I saw him. But,
interesting.
Yeah, he really did not, like, have a lot of known roles, I would say.
Right.
Maybe I could be wrong, but from what I was looking at, it didn't look like he was the star in many of those.
Right. Okay, interesting. I guess that makes sense.
Yeah.
Well, I still think that an actor should be credited, but okay. But anyway, so I'm looking, it looks like she had a lot of credits, but like a lot of smaller things. So she had like paramedic, saleswoman, like that kind of stuff under her belt.
Yeah.
And then she was, she was in Gilmore Girls. She had a recurring character in Gilmore Girls. Yes. But I didn't watch Gilmore Girls all the way through, but I do know that she's a recurrent character in that. So she's in that. And then it looks like she was a character in The Backup Plan. And then she does Bridesmaids, which I think, based on the credits that I'm looking at, unless there's one of these movies that I just don't know super well, Bridesmaids seems like her first big breakout role. Because she was also in Life as We Know It with, what's her name? Katherine Heigl and Josh Duhamel.
You say names sometimes, and I'm just like...
Anyway.
I'm a face kind of person.
That's fine. But anyway, Bridesmaids, I think, was her first big one. And then she goes on to do This Is 40, Identity Theft, which is she's another, main character.
With, Jason...
Yes, Bateman.
Yeah. I've seen that one. I love that one, actually.
And then Hangover, Part 3.
I totally forgot she was in Hangover.
And then I don't know if I've seen Part 3. I've seen the first and the second one. And then she does The Heat. And then that kind of kicks off her her being
she
like
started
a
being like in everything,
big role, because then Identity Theft probably really kicks it off. Identity Theft, she's one of the main characters. Then The Heat, Tammy, and Spy are all kind of like in the same vein to me. Mm-hmm. And then she goes on and has had an incredible career, and now she's Ursula in Little Mermaid.
Yeah, I wonder how that's gonna be.
We talked about this a little bit during our Oscars party, but she is one of the few actors that I feel like we still really see some range from. A lot of actors kind of find a comfortable character type and kind of end up just, and whether it's because of them or just because of directors putting them in those spots or, casting directors, whatever. She's one of the few that I feel like I really have seen her in a lot of different roles. She's played like the really tough, like rough around the edges kind of character. She's played the like very sweet and submissive like mom or very shy person in the office. Mm-hmm. She's played like very like she in Bridesmaids. Yeah, she was that in Spy. She's a very shy person in the office, and she was also in a movie called.
You keep saying the TV show The Office.
No. Like she just like around the office that she's working in. Yeah. And then she was also in some movie where she plays like the mom of somebody, and she goes to college with like her daughter. And she's also like a very like shy, like or just more quiet kind of person. And then in Bridesmaids, she plays like a much more masculine type character. And now she's Ursula again. So we see some range from her, and I feel like she does a great job in every role. Like she is truly a very talented performer. So I'm excited for you to just see another one of her movies. She's so funny.
Yeah, no, I'm also very excited. Yeah, anything else you want to say about this before we hop in?
I don't think so. Let's go ahead and do it.
All right, so we're going to go watch The Heat with Melissa McCarthy and Sandra Bullock, and we're going to let you know how it is in a couple seconds here.
Welcome back, everyone, to Clued and Clueless.
Welcome back, everyone.
So, we just saw The Heat.
The Heat.
What did you think? What'd you think?
That was great. I thought it was funny.
You were giggling over there.
I thought it was like on the same level of Bridesmaids. Like just that real funny humor. I know.
Yeah, funny humor. That's the best kind.
Well, you know, I was trying to think of a better word. What is like just their delivery, their contrast, like everything just like really meshed well. I love Sandra Bullock. It's always great to see her in movies.
This only has a 6.6 out of 10 rating on IMDb.
It's almost a 7, which is like an average rating, I would say.
Yeah, but I think that this is above average.
Yeah,
it's not like incredible, but I think it's above average.
So you're putting it like for your personal rating? You'd be like what, an 8?
I give it an 8. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Cool.
What about you?
3.5.
You always say that, and I'm always like, one of these days it's gonna make me like scream. I was like 3. What do you mean?
I'm a 5-star
That's
man.
Fine, whatever. But so you said 3.3?
3.5.
3.5?
Yeah.
So that translates to 7.
Yeah, an average movie.
That's what I mean. So you're wrong.
Oh, okay. Well. I don't know what we're getting at here, but okay.
We're getting at that you're incorrect. I'm saying it pretty directly. I said you're wrong.
Movie reviews are all subjective anyway. You know, whatever you like and you think is fun and you think it was a good time is good.
It's okay, but you can be subjectively and objectively wrong at the same time. And you are both.
You know, I meant to show you this before we started recording. We got back into this. But Sandra Bullock, this whole, like, the start of the movie, right?
Uh-huh.
Starts off, instantly reminded me of that TikTok. There's just, like, one couple that I've been seeing a lot of TikToks of. And it's, like, every female special agent in, like, a movie.
Oh, I've never seen that.
We gotta find it after.
I saw one video where this girl was, like did something like that, and it was like her in like the fight scene where she's like, I got this, don't worry, and she goes in there and then like afterwards she walks out and she's like, don't worry boys, I already took care of it. Now I'm gonna go get a beer.
It's almost exactly like that.
Okay,
but for the people who haven't seen The Heat, or people who've been a while like you who's taken a minute, what is The Heat?
So The Heat is about one, Sandra Bullock is an FBI agent and Melissa McCarthy is a local police officer. How can
they coexist?
They both get assigned to different levels, I would say, of the same drug case. And Melissa McCarthy's character is investigating on a local level, and Sandra Bullock's character, what's her name? Ashburn.
Oh, it's right up there. Yes,
Ashburn gets pulled from the federal jurisdiction to come in and investigate. They end up bumping heads. Sandra Bullock plays her typical, very straight-edged kind of character, very like, I'm here to get business done, very by the book, very proficient and efficient at what she does. Melissa McCarthy plays a very, I'm just going to get things done however it gets done kind of character. And so they start clashing, and it's just all the funny things that they go through as they're trying to somehow work together on this case. Hilarious. I laughed so much during this movie.
No, it's a hilarious film.
I did look up the writer. It looks like this is written by Katie Dippold. I don't know how to pronounce her last name. Dippold. Sorry in advance, Katie. I feel like I can call you Katie.
Yeah,
so
she's watching.
Yeah. Well, we're getting a beer after this.
We'll tag her.
Anyway, written by a woman, which I feel reads. I feel like it makes sense. I feel like the humor is funny.
I don't know if it does, especially...
I'm going to go ahead and agree with what you said earlier and say that the humor is indeed funny.
It's funny humor.
It's funny humor. This funny, it's funny.
Which scene was it? When they're in the nightclub and, like, they're cutting up her clothes.
And at one point, they're in a nightclub and they're trying to bug this guy's phone. And, Melissa McCarthy's character, is telling Ashburn, hey, you look like an FBI agent. You gotta dress it down a little bit. So she just starts cutting off pieces of her clothing. And at one point she rips off her pant legs, and there's Spanx underneath. And that was too funny. She's like, what are those? She's like, what do you mean? They're my Spanx. They're keeping everything what they're supposed to be. What's gonna come popping out? It's a very quotable movie. My family quotes that all the time. What's gonna come popping out?
That's your family's favorite
Well,
quote?
No, it's not our favorite, but that's one of the things that we say. Why? What's going to come popping out?
One of my favorite things, like, I'm just going to go through my list as I like to do. But I really enjoyed that, you know, the movie starts out, she's badass, right? You know, everyone kind of was like, oh, Ashburn's here again.
Yeah,
you know?
they set it off really quickly as, like, she's not, like, revered, or people aren't like, wow, like, she's such a good agent. Yeah. People are so over
it. She's not like a team player.
No.
She's just like Miss Know-It-All. almost.
Very showboaty, yeah.
But I loved when she gets in the car and then, like, she doesn't have a partner. They're like, let's go. And she's in the passenger seat. No one's in the driving.
Yeah.
It's like, oh. But then, like, she gets to her house and she's with her cat. Just snuggling with him, having a good time. He's purring.
Wait, go explain the opening scene. You didn't explain what happens.
Oh, yes. So in the opening scene, it really, like we said, kind of sets up her entire character arc. Mm-hmm. That she's this kind of by-the-book, know-it-all agent who's coming into a scene and about to bust a drug deal. Mm-hmm. But it wasn't really about the drugs, more about the guns. But the little doggy, nice little guy, he couldn't sniff out the drugs because, you know... He's just a dog.
And the agent sniffed, the FBI agent sniffed, and they declared the place clean.
FBI's looked around, they're like, it's all good. But she finds the drugs, and they're like, that's not what we're here for, and throws them away, because, like, who cares about that? We're here for the guns. She's like, this is a speakeasy house. Boop! Hits a special component. Out comes the guns.
She makes all the people look like a fool. All the people that she works with, all the people on her team, she, like, has this whole monologue where she's, like... really dragging it out that she's about to one-up everybody. So, yeah.
Yeah, she's just, like, really monologuing, just getting everyone to listen to her, all eyes on her.
Yeah.
She's kind of an annoying person, like, in the beginning, you know?
Yeah.
But, yeah, she has no partner. She doesn't have anyone to relax her. She goes back to her home. She's relaxing. She's with her cat, having a good time. And then finds out the cat's not even hers. It's her neighbor's cat who just kind of like sneaks over there every now and then. Even her neighbor thinks she's like a weird person.
Out with, but it's not even her cat. So she's like, all along.
She's a super kind of lonely person. Yeah. Can't even like get a cat for herself because she's like,
too much work.
Yeah. But I don't know. I just love how that really sets her up.
Yeah.
Like who we're dealing with.
Yeah, you get a solid idea of who she is. Yeah.
And I believe before, like, she gets sent off to Boston, obviously, to go solve this crime. She's going for this promotion. But then that's when Melissa McCarthy's character gets introduced. And we learn how she works. Which in her scene is the complete opposite of Ashburn. Mm-hmm. We have Mullins over here, Melissa McCarthy, who is not so much busting someone from, like, hiring prostitutes.
She's busting them. What do you mean?
Busting them, but really just doing it just like to beat up a guy who she kind of knows has like this family. Like, yeah, she's arresting him.
She doesn't know. No,
she had a hunch.
I don't think so.
I think she did. I think she like knew because like you see the car and all this. You kind of have this general like. I'm thinking like a character like.
Like she's just okay. I thought you meant like she's
No. Like she knows the type of guy this is. You know, stuff like that. And so she goes up to him and is like calls his wife and like lets him know he's trying to hire a prostitute and she's like breaking his hand, doing all this. It's really just
she calls the wife.
Yeah.
She calls the wife and outs him and then hurts him even more to honor his wife.
And it's just this isn't cop, you know,
she's
behavior.
Just a lot. Yeah, she's not by
blunt,
the book at all. She is just gonna like strong arm the situation until she gets the information she wants or whatever it is, until she finds what she finds her version of justice.
Exactly.
Because it might not necessarily line up with what the judicial system considers to be justice.
She's not the captain, but she's the detective that kind of just like goes over the captain.
Oh, she runs that
exactly.
show.
She runs her department.
The captain says because when Sandra Bullock's character gets there, she asked to speak with Rojas, her the person that she had brought in earlier, and he's like, "Oh no, we're not allowed to touch Mullins, her suspects. Yeah. We're not allowed to touch them." Like she runs that show. The captain does not.
It's her world of that precinct, and everyone else is just living in it.
Yeah.
But so now you have these two very different personalities about a clash, and just really set up this movie of kind of someone by the books work with someone who It's a loose cannon.
Yeah, a major loose cannon.
Yeah, and go into that whole thing. I love Sandra Bullock here. I love whenever she plays like this kind of like know-it-all character.
She does these characters so well, you know? She really does.
Because it's so like awkward. Like she's like fumbling around. Like, and I wrote that down like right when she got into the precinct, right? Mm-hmm. And then she's like, Captain. And he's points at the actual captain. Yeah. She was like, Captain. And he's like, okay, holding cells over here. And she keeps just going the wrong way. Yeah. She's like, right, and right. Because she's this person who's like, no, I'm right. Don't worry, I got this.
Yeah.
It's like, you're kind of just like fumbling around. You're so goofy and awkward, but I love that about her.
Yeah, I agree. And we, right after the movie ended, Mario brought up Miss Congeniality. So correct me if I'm wrong, because it's also been a minute since I've seen Miss Congeniality. I love that movie. But in that movie, I remember her being a little bit more... Because in this one, she seems to be a little bit more self-conscious. A little bit. She's still, like, very, I know what to do within, like, the precinct and stuff, and I know the rules. But she is a little bit like, oh, like, why can't I? She's aware that, like, she doesn't have friends. And she's aware of the way that this is negatively impacting her social circle. But in Miss Congeniality, it doesn't make the officers around her dislike her. There's a lot more respect for her in Miss Congeniality as a officer, right?
I would say as an officer, there is, right? Like, everyone, like, people like respect her.
Yeah, she's good at what she does.
But she's not good at being like a woman.
Exactly. Yeah. She's not good at being entering a beauty contest. Yeah. But so that's her.
She has like no social skills.
Exactly. Well, no, I wouldn't even say she doesn't have. It's not that she doesn't have social skills, because I would say being in a beauty pageant is not just having social skills. That's a very specific kind of like personality, and like. It's very specific way that you have to conduct yourself.
And that's more like what I mean. She knows how to like talk law and stuff like that and like solve crimes. Yeah. But she doesn't like, she's like, I don't know how to put on makeup. I don't know how to wear dresses. Stuff like that. Yeah. That's what I mean. Not like actual social skills.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. See, but so she's very confident and she's very self-assured in that movie, but like her like quote unquote clumsiness just comes from like she doesn't know how to walk in super high heels like a supermodel down a runway. Like that's valid. A lot of people don't know how to do that, you know.
Well, you don't.
But
I do that every night.
Clearly, I know. But in this movie, she like really doesn't have a world outside of the manual for her job. You know what I mean? Yeah. Like she's not friends with other people in the precinct. They don't respect her. She doesn't have social skills. She ends up saying in the movie that she was married, but it just became too complicated to maintain a marriage and her job, and she chose her job. Like this woman has no balance. In Miss Congeniality, she's just a woman who's really good at her job. You know what I mean? And you can't put a lot of people in a beauty pageant scenario and have them thrive enough to win Miss America. It's not even like a little pageant. She is supposed to be up there with all of the misses from around the United States of America and make it seem like she's supposed to be there. That is a high bar.
I feel like if I remember correctly, it's like slightly rigged in her favor until like they
it is, but you can't just like you still have to go and perform in front of the nation and seem like you belong. You know what I mean? So I think
it also does help. Like contestants, I believe, are like dying left and right.
Well, okay, that is irrelevant to the current situation. So anyway, she plays these very like straight edged characters, but there is some nuance to the character, definitely. And she does a good job of finding that nuance. It doesn't feel like she's always playing the exact same character. You know what I mean? Yeah.
And you get like hints of that character where you can be like think back to that movie and be like, oh, that's so funny. But then like she does like give it new life also. Yeah. Give it its own personality.
Exactly. She does a good job of differentiating very similar characters. Yeah. Which is something I love about her. I'm so glad she's my mentor.
Yeah, she's training you.
I'm so lucky, yeah.
You should probably check that email, the person you're emailing and sending money to for these acting classes. I don't think that's actually...
No, it's probably fine. Last time they said I only needed to give $1,500, so they give me a little
that's
bit
a
of
reasonable
discount.
rate.
Yeah,
weekly. Have you ever seen Training Day?
No.
Okay.
I don't even know what that is.
They said that when they're interviewing my favorite bird, Sweet D, Kate Olsen, Sandra Bullock goes, "What is this, training day?" Because she's like sitting down talking about like doing coke and all this.
Yeah.
It's not like it makes the joke like way over the top funny, but it's just like if you've seen the movie Training Day, you like get the reference.
Oh, okay, yeah.
That's like one of my like favorite like detective crime movies.
Yeah.
Hilarious film. Maybe one day we'll watch it. Who knows? I think it's a lot longer than what we usually watch.
It's okay. Eventually, I'm going to make you watch Les Mis.
So. But I just thought that quote was funny. It's just like everything she was saying is just like in the moment. It's just this funny thing with everything happening, going fast paced. Yeah. So let me take a break from me looking at my awesome journal because I'm running out of notes. But what?
You're running out of notes already?
I am.
It's because you were enjoying the movie.
I keep falling into this moment of like,
that's not a bad thing. I don't think
it's definitely not. I could talk about this movie, but my notes are lacking of like little points. Because then I just start writing quotes because I'm like, that's funny. Oh, I like that little part.
What quote did you write down? Give me a quote.
Just like what is this training day, and I also, oh my gosh, I didn't write any more quotes actually.
You know, like quotes, just something here, something there. One.
Yeah,
one quote that's already been
I
said.
thought I wrote another one, but it was on the from Bridesmaids that I wrote. My notes are all just flowing into each other.
Okay.
But it is a very quotable movie.
One of the quotes that my family, that we used to quote all the time, like after we saw this movie, was when she's got the knife in her leg.
Yes. So
at the end, the two agents are in a situation where they are in two seats with their hands tied behind them. This guy is, talking about torturing them. He's got knives, whatever. Well, he gets called out of the room and he sticks the knife into Sandra Bullock's leg. And when he's gone, Melissa McCarthy pulls the knife out and frees her hands, but then they start hearing someone come up again, and Melissa McCarthy goes, "I gotta put it back in." I'm sorry. And she's like, "What do you mean? I gotta put it back in?" And she has to stab her again, but she like hesitates, so she like kind of stabs her.
She's like,
and then pulls it back out. She's like, "I'm sorry, it's a lot harder." It doesn't. And then she finally does it. But then she's so funny in this movie. She stabs her, and then she goes. She like starts to gag. You
were like covering your I saw you like kind of covering your face when they're like gonna stab her back
again. Well, it was mostly that one didn't get me as much as the tracheotomy.
Oh, we'll talk about that.
That one was which is odd because I watch Grey's Anatomy and it doesn't bother me in Grey's Anatomy.
We gotta talk. I'm gonna talk to you about Grey's Anatomy off camera because I also saw a TikTok about that.
Oh God. Okay, we'll talk about it.
But this isn't a Grey's Anatomy. When we get to those,
including Clueless, all 17 seasons of Grey's Anatomy or however many they're on.
We'll catch up to all that, and we'll get
stopped watching after like season 10.
We'll get to the one part that I saw, and I'll be like, "What is going on?"
Okay, fair.
But one of my other notes was I just love how awkward Sandra is.
Yeah.
Just like just everything like she does, especially like when she's meeting, like just meeting her and trying to like be friends. Let's just work together. Yeah. And then when they at one point manage to kind of bust like one of the main dealers, and they have him in the interrogation room. Mm-hmm. And Sandra's like, "Okay, just let me take this over. We got this bond. We don't want to ruin this bond. Let's take it nice and slow." And then Sandra's trying to just, interrogate him.
She offers him coffee.
Exactly.
Tries to establish some sort of connection.
And then Melissa McCarthy just busts in and goes full like.
She busts in and she throws the yellow pages at him.
Throws the literal phone book at him. The literal book at him.
Where did she get that?
But then it turns into her like pointing a gun at his crotch and saying that she's gonna shoot him.
Playing Russian roulette.
Yeah, Russian roulette with him. And then you have Sandra in the corner just like,
she tells him to turn around. Melissa McCarthy tells Sandra Bullock's character, she goes, "Turn around, I need you to pass a polygraph test."
And so she's like screaming in the corner.
The situation just keeps escalating. Yes. Every time that she pulls the trigger, it just gets more and more chaotic with the guy saying, the man that they're interrogating saying, "Please don't shoot me, please don't shoot me." And Sandra Bullock's character saying, "Please just tell her what you know."
And the captain comes in and is like, "What's going on here?" It's just like it just gets more over the top and like Sandra just gets more awkward and just like it was like I just love what I wrote. Love the contrast between them. Love their little dynamic of like their characters being this whole just very rowdy, very uptight.
Yeah.
It's always like, when you see that in movies, always fun. Like,
yeah.
The straight man.
A good dynamic, yeah. For sure. It's just, something else that this film does really well, which is hard because it's something I've griped about with other comedies that we've talked about, is sometimes the bit goes on for a little while. Mm-hmm. But it made me laugh, you know what I mean? Like, it's really hard to do that. There's a lot of comedies that will just drag the bit on and just keep beating that, just over and over and over again. And it's like, I stopped laughing 30 seconds ago and the bit is still going on. You know what I mean? Now it's just kind of tired. But this movie does a really good job of, it will have very long bits, yes, but I will keep laughing. And I think it's because the bits are just constructed better. It's not doing the same thing over and over again. So it's not like someone falling down the stairs for 30 seconds or someone talking about cheeseburgers for 30 seconds. You know what I mean? Like, okay. It's continuing dialogue that builds. And so there were a couple moments where I was like, dang, we've been watching this scene for a while, but it's still funny. I'm still laughing at it, which is not easy to do. But it's something that I think that this film does well multiple times. I feel like sometimes with comedies, we see shorter, more clipped scenes for the sake of ending the joke and moving on to the next thing to keep things moving. But this one didn't shy away from just letting a scene play out and just letting it be funny in its own right, Yeah,
that's what I was going to say, going back to Bridesmaids, since you saw that. I think they only had one bit that was really long, but it was always intentional to make it just super over-the-top, goofy, very drawn-out bit. Yeah. And this one, it had multiple. It had the club scene. Yes. With, cutting up her outfit and everything. Yeah. I thought that was, a bit that was, it could easily go wrong. Yeah. But they kept it funny the whole time. The next one, I believe, that they did was when they're at her parents' house and they're talking about the narc thing the whole time. Yeah. And all of them will have these Boston accents, so they're saying, knock. Boston accents. So, knock.
You a knock? Are you... I can't even do it.
Are you a knock?
Are you, or are you not a knock?
See, I can hear the R of yours. It's
knock. A knock.
And it's so silly, and it could easily, again, that's one of the, a bit that can easily just, okay, we're dragging on. I just thought they were funny every single time. It was funny,
and I would say at the beginning, too, where she's busting that guy trying to solicit a woman, I think that also that lasted a long time. That was a long scene, but it was funny. You know what I mean? It was good. Yeah.
Yeah, and I think when you have people like Sandra Bullock and Melissa McCarthy, these really I would say titans, female titans in the industry who are also very good at comedy, can really keep them going.
Definitely,
you know what I mean?
Yeah. And it makes me wonder too, how much of this was scripted and how much wasn't. And I'd be willing to bet actually most of this was scripted. Mm-hmm. That's how it felt to me as someone who is not a professional in that at all. But what I will say is I think that's just, again, this is a testament to solid writing, because in other movies you gotta just sometimes they just really milk it for the bit. But what this movie did, which allowed, I think, for longer scenes and for that, for it to play out what we just said. You all heard it. We were all here. I think that what allows that to happen is setting up a good story, an authentically good story with interesting characters who just naturally, when they are in situations together, the scenes are going to organically be ridiculous. And so you don't have to really work to find the joke and then just really run that joke until it is tired. You can just set these two characters in an interesting situation, and it's just gonna snowball. Even on a writing standpoint, you're gonna be able to come up with more and more content because these characters are just naturally going to pull ridiculous content out of each other, and with the situation that they're in, only magnifies that. So I think that is a testament to good writing that the ball can just keep rolling how it does in this movie.
Exactly, and just taking literally everything you just said, going back to a literal bit that you're talking about was, I can't say the name of it because I totally forgot what it's called, but when the guy's choking in the restaurant.
The tracheotomy.
There we go.
Yes.
I would never be able to say that.
I watched Grey's Anatomy. I know what it's called.
So
I've done one.
That is a bit. You've done one?
I've done 3.
You yourself?
Yeah.
Interesting. I've seen Saw, so,
Not the same thing.
It was Saw 2?
For you to compare Saw to my surgical hands.
It was Saw 3 that they did it to themselves.
Okay, whatever. You're spoiling Saw for me, so.
Well, don't worry. We'll watch that one. We'll watch those whole 8, 9, maybe 11. Anyway, that's a bit, the diner scene, that could really go wrong.
Yeah.
Because it's like...
Do you want to explain to them what that is?
Yes. So, I forget exactly why they're in the diner in the first place. I think they're just talking about the case.
meeting and talking about the case, yeah.
I think it's something like that.
They're just in a diner.
They're just meeting, talking in the diner. And then randomly... a guy just starts choking. No one that really matters, just a random person, but they're there. So they're like, oh, we gotta, save him.
Of course.
So they try giving him the Heimlich, and they're like, call 911, blah, blah, blah. And then it's not working. She's like, can you see the food in his mouth? And he's like, I can't see it.
Yeah.
So they put him on the ground. And Sandra Bullock, with all this knowledge that she has...
Callback, because earlier in the movie, she was watching... The Doctors, where they did a demonstration, an explanation of a tracheotomy.
Not even on a real person. Or
no,
anything.
It was with a computer animated diagram.
Just a whole animated bit.
So she felt confident enough in her knowledge.
She says, I've been studying it, so I feel confident that I could do this. So she's asking for she's like, I need a knife, I need vodka. And vodka, it's a Denny's.
At a Denny's, yeah.
She's like, I need to sterilize hot water. So eventually she just grabs a knife and she's explaining to this guy as he's on the ground choking.
He's literally, yeah.
She's like, okay, I'm going to do a small...
The world around him is fading, and Sandra Bullock is above him saying, I'm going to take this knife and make an incision.
Yeah, I'm going to make a small incision in your throat, and she starts cutting, and she's like, wow, this is going a lot deeper than I thought it was. And you're like, oh my gosh, what is happening right now?
And then she takes a straw.
Then she gets a straw, and she says, now you're going to start feeling air come to your brain, you're going to be okay. And so she puts it in.
Trike him.
And then blood just starts coming out through the straw.
Blood just spews out.
And so now it's everywhere. Everything's going wrong.
And she's freaking out.
Everyone's freaking out. Melissa
McCarthy's gagging.
Yeah, she eventually just hits him on the chest, and he coughs the pancake up that he was choking on. Now there's even more blood everywhere.
Oh.
Everything's going wrong. And then it hard cuts to the ambulance, and I forgot the actor's actual name.
I'll look him up.
He's hilarious.
He's in The Office.
He's also in Silicon Valley, which is... hilarious. But he comes and he kind of berates them. He's like, you could have just put your hand in there and took the pancake out.
Could have just pulled the pancake out. Yeah.
He's like, you guys are reckless.
He's like, you're reckless.
You're reckless.
The way he said, he's like, you're a reckless woman.
It's so funny, and it goes on for
Zach Woods.
Yes, Zach Woods. And it goes on for 5 minutes, but it's just
But it's hilarious, and you're invested the whole time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It comes out of nowhere, and so it's just you did not have to put that scene in the movie,
right?
But it just works. Those two.
Yeah. I have thought about if I had to trach someone in the field.
Don't ever try.
Luckily I haven't had to, but I've thought about it. If I were outside of my OR and we're in that situation,
yeah.
I've thought about that because in Grey's Anatomy, anyone who's seen Grey's Anatomy knows they are constantly, these doctors somehow always end up in situations where someone needs help and they're not at the hospital and they have to do something like that. I literally watched an episode the other day where they have to do, it's not a tracheotomy, I forgot what it's called, but they have to literally out in the field, open a man's chest, make an incision, and they need to get the blood out of his chest. So what they do is they're looking around, and there's a bottle of I'm so sorry anyone who knows the episode that I'm talking about because it's a very traumatic episode. But they find I don't know if it's a squirt bottle of some sort, okay? But one where you not one
yeah.
For those that are listening. I realized that was not so you wouldn't be able to differentiate. It's not one of the squirt bottles where you hit the trigger. It's one of the squirt bottles where you push down on the little button on top. That's the best I can do for you. Go to YouTube. Find us on YouTube. And also like and subscribe while you're there. Leave a comment and a review. So anyway, but one of those
Axe body spray, like that.
No, but it's not one of those because it's not one where if you hold down, it's going to continue to spray. It's like you have to keep hitting it.
All right, so now I got to go to YouTube and figure out what
you're looking at me, Mario. Anyway, they pull that. This has gone entirely on too long. Okay, so anyway, they unscrew that and they stick that in his chest and it pops all the blood out of his chest and it saves the man in the moment.
I think if you tried that, the paramedic would also call you reckless.
Oh, yeah. But would it save a man's life? Maybe.
I don't think it would have. I think you would have also killed him.
Listen, if we were in a... I'm just saying, if someone were choking and you tried the Heimlich, and you tried to sweep it out of their airway, and you couldn't do it, what are your options? You either don't do anything and the person for sure dies, or you do something and maybe they die.
No, you just keep trying until it happens.
That's not how that should work at all. Break a few ribs. That's CPR. That's not the Heimlich.
Well, you can also break ribs from
I guess, but not as likely.
I think they've changed it, actually. I did the training back when I worked for Southwest.
They changed what?
How to actually do the Heimlich.
I took it...
I feel like I remember hearing about that.
I took it a couple years ago. I don't think that they did.
Maybe it's CPR I'm thinking about.
Yeah, I think that they did slightly change the pace that you're supposed to be doing CPR at. No. I don't think it's technically staying alive anymore. No, but I think staying alive will do. It's better than nothing.
But if I'm in a moment of just, someone's choking, and they require the Heimlich, I guess I'm just gonna keep giving them the Heimlich.
But what if they've passed out? Like they're dying now.
And there's nothing I can do.
No, you can trach them, Mario. You're not listening.
Look, I am not Special Agent Ashburn. I am not skilled. I haven't been studying.
You know that you took a CPR class. You know what you're supposed to do if you're trying to use a defibrillator on someone and they have like a very hairy chest.
I didn't take any of that.
Do you know what you're supposed to do? Oh, really?
I didn't have to use the defib. I was on a flight.
Okay, I was trained on defib.
I learned the basics of Heimlich. That's it.
I was trained on this, and if someone is like a very hairy person, because you're supposed to make good contact with the skin with the defibrillator for it to like actually shock the heart and work. So if this person's very hairy, it's not going to get a good connection. So what you're supposed to do in most of those kits, they have two different pads. Okay, they have like the defibrillator pads for an adult, and then they have the defibrillator pads for a child. You're supposed to take the child one, take off the adhesive thing, whatever, so that it's sticky, and you're supposed to put it on their chest and rip it off and literally wax them, and then you get a better connection. That's seriously what you're supposed to do. That's not a joke. That is actually what you were supposed to do if you're in that situation.
It's fascinating.
Yeah.
I don't think that happened in this movie.
Well, no, they didn't need to use a defibrillator.
Maybe they should.
I'm giving everyone their CPR cards right now.
You're
all trained.
You're all graduated from.
Congratulations.
Go
out there and save some lives, kids.
If you walk away from this review, if you take anything,
it's CPR knowledge.
CPR knowledge.
We just trained a whole class of lifeguards.
And how to trank someone, I guess.
Not a trach. Trach someone.
Trach. It's a weird word.
Don't put his name down as your instructor, because you will not. People know that he doesn't really.
I'm the trainee. He's like, you could train on me and stuff. But going back to the movie,
yeah.
What was your favorite part? What are some notes you took with your brain?
Well, okay, you asked me two different questions.
Okay, what is your notes you took with your brain?
I want to answer the first question.
What's your favorite part, Kristen? Hey, Kristen, what's your favorite part?
Thank you so much for asking. I liked the whole movie, dude. It's all so funny. Like, trying to think of specific parts. Like, it's gonna be it's gonna be the knife scene. It's gonna be the trach scene. Like, those are just the big ones that really stick out to me. But, like, I don't know. I really like this movie. It's so good. I have nothing else to add.
I believe Sandra Bullock just turned 53 or 54. Oh, if you go look up that age for me. But
she's 58.
Yeah, okay, wow. She's 58. And so, yeah, him saying woman over 40, you're the only one who's over 40 who's ever, like, turned me on or something like that. I was like, man, was Sandra Bullock actually 40 in this movie? Yeah, well, now that you said that,
but she doesn't. She didn't look it.
She doesn't.
She didn't look it. Sandra Bullock looks so good all the time. This is on Wikipedia, so I don't know that we can trust it. However, it does say that Sandra Bullock was the world's highest paid actress in 2010 and in 2014.
I believe that.
That's crazy. I mean, I believe that too, but that's wild. She's 5'7". How tall is Melissa McCarthy? How tall?
What, 5'4", I would say then?
That's your guess?
Yeah.
5'2".
Oh, wow. That's a lot shorter than I thought.
I thought she was going to be maybe
movie
5'4",
magic,
too.
I would say in this. They made her look a little taller.
I was just in something where they had to put me on an apple box.
Yeah.
To just kind of, for the shot.
Did you ever have to, like, stand back or, like, stand closer to the camera while the other actor stood further?
No, but I was in... There's two scenes that I can think of specifically. There's one scene in a thing that I did a couple years ago where I'm in an elevator and the doors like open and there's two men already in the elevator and I stand in between them. And actually, wait, no, I wasn't on an apple box. They made one of the guys stand on an apple box because they wanted them to be like significantly taller than I was.
Oh, okay.
And one of them was taller than me, but not as tall as I think they wanted for the shot. So they put one of the guys in the apple box. So actually, that had nothing to do with with what we're talking about.
So that just made you shorter.
So they made me even shorter, which is like, God, I'm doing my best. Oh, and you saw Melissa McCarthy's husband's cameo.
Yes,
he is in all of her movies.
A nice little callback to our last episode. That was funny. I was like, because I remember you telling me that last episode, and I was like, man, when is he gonna appear? So I was like keeping an eye out for him. I was like, maybe he'll just be like in the background or something like that. But nope, came right there.
He's always in it. He plays which I think one of the funniest bits in this movie is that Melissa McCarthy's character, her past lovers keep just popping up every now and then and just like are still so in love with her. Yeah. And I just think that that's so funny because we just see her consistently as like this rough person. Sandra Bullock talks about how like you haven't changed your shirt this entire time that we've been here. You just keep like turning it inside out. Yeah, I keep like reversing it. But she has like all of these men in like a chokehold, and I just think that it's so good.
Going to what you said, like I believe you said one scene you felt like it could have been improv, right? But it was probably just like the writing.
Which one?
I have no idea.
I don't think that I said that.
You did though. You're like it could have been not improv, but what was the exact wording you guys used? I wish I could go back in the recording and call you out on it. But you said it was probably written that way. It felt like it could be
I just said that about the whole film. I said that I think that the whole film was probably more written than improv. But
Yeah, that's what I mean. But one part that I feel was improv, right? Was when she like kissed him as he was like walking away.
I don't think that was.
You don't?
No.
I thought that was like just
maybe
a little like goof with them.
I think it would have been funny. I mean, I don't know. It read either way. It was hilarious either way.
I mean, either way, it was going to be if it was written in, if it wasn't.
So what happens is her husband comes in. Her husband in real life comes in and says, does some kind of profession of love. Like, I'd like to see you again. I thought we had a really good time. And she's just like, absolutely not. Yeah, we had a good time and now goodbye. Like, and now we move on. We move on with our lives. And then like, he's like, he kind of takes it okay. And he's like, okay, like I get it. And then she turns around and just plants one on him. And then he leaves and she turns back to Sandra Bullock and she's like, God, like, I thought it was pretty clear. Some people just don't get it. The mixed signals.
I think that's when they go on their little binge right there, right? Their little...
their drinking binge?
Yeah.
Yes.
They're having a great time in the bar, and I think that's when Sandra Bullock does a cuss for the first time. Or actually, no, she doesn't.
No,
her first time's at the office.
It's when she's defending her.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's actually very sweet. She doesn't know how to curse. Honestly... The dynamic between the two of them sometimes reminds me a lot of me and my little sister.
Yeah?
Yes.
In what way?
That's just our dynamic sometimes.
Okay, cool.
Sometimes that's how we act towards each other. Especially at the very beginning.
Who would you say you are?
Oh, who do you think I am?
Oh, you're Sandra Bullock, right? Okay, cool.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Ashlyn is beating me up, bro. Ashlyn is roughing me up. Especially at the beginning when they first meet each other and they're just kind of taking digs at each other and like... fighting each other a little bit. Oh, like especially in the interrogation room, when Sandra Bullock's like, oh, actually no, like I'm going to be interviewing, and Melissa McCarthy just walks in. She's like, I'm going to punch you in your face, and she's like, please don't, I'm going to hit you right in your face. That is me and Ashlyn.
Knock all your buttons off.
Yeah, exactly. That is Ashlyn bullying me 100%. Hi,
One day Ashlyn will be on this show. Hey, Ashlyn, if you're listening to this, you should fly down to Austin. And...
Dude, she doesn't listen to these.
She just retweets her.
I tell her to, and she's like, okay, I'll put it on in the background. I don't think she does.
Well, we'll find out when she hears this part. And
yeah, I'm going to ask her, so how was the podcast, Ashley? Anything interesting?
Any more notes as we move along?
I think we should just talk about how nice it is when the characters start to come around to each other. And the like common ground that they find with each other.
In a very kind of like bad way, because Sandra Bullock pretty much puts her, like, you had walked away for a second to go use the restroom, but Sandra Bullock basically puts Melissa McCarthy's brother in danger.
Yeah.
He's like, hey, I want to get in with them and give y'all knowledge, and she's like, this is what's going to happen, but it leads to him getting put into a coma because of this. And so now Sandra Bullock, like, she screwed up major, like, one for the FBI, but on another side of, like, her partner kind of, like, taking away our trust. She was like, don't do this. Right. He's my brother. They're going to hurt him, obviously.
Yeah.
And so it's like, dang, you really screwed up.
Yeah.
Pretty bad. You almost got someone killed.
Yeah. I think, though, I mean, yeah, she really messed up. But one thing that I like about this movie is I like how... I've said this before in this podcast. I love character development, and I love seeing, like, the character development and seeing when they take time to do that. And something that I like that this film does is they very early on start to establish, because they show you how, like, crazy and how much of a loose cannon Melissa McCarthy is, right? They show you how crazy Mullins is and how she doesn't really play by the rules. And they almost make you feel like she doesn't know what she's doing. She's just strong-arming people. She doesn't actually, like, she doesn't have the brain for it. However, then they obviously show Sandra Bullock's character. They show Ashburn, as someone who, like, knows the manual backward and forward, but, like, might have difficulty, like, playing things out in certain scenarios. But the very first time that Ashburn and Mullins go in to interrogate somebody together, Mullins ends up causing this whole scene and causing a big disruptance and this and that, whatever, and doing what she does, like, just kind of strong-arming and wreaking havoc in this apartment. Meanwhile, Ashburn sees that there are used cigarette butts on the table, and Mullins actually says, like, oh, like, you're smoking. Don't you know that that's bad for you? You got half your lipstick on all your, cigarette butts, whatever, and then starts causing trouble. And then Ashburn looks and sees the cigarette butts and takes a couple for to run, diagnostics on and tests on later. And as they're walking out, you can see that Ashburn thinks, okay, good on me. I was able to get, a little piece of evidence that might help us. But Mullins ends up saying, like, did you get the cigarette butts or not? And you can see how shocked Ashburn is that, like, that was part of Mullins' plan, that she had a reason for doing what she is doing so that she could distract, so that Ashburn could get the cigarette butts. And I think that they do a good job of starting to lay the foundation of, no, she does know what she's doing. She's not an idiot. She knows what she's doing. And a lot of her actions have a motive behind them. You know what I mean? Now, whether or not the motive is justified or, like, whatever. But, like, it does a lot to start to pad that character as she's not stupid, and she shouldn't be underestimated. And that's where we start to the very beginnings of them starting to find common ground and respect for each other.
And going to that scene, as we talk about, like, their connection, Sandra Bullock, like, right at the beginning of that scene, calls, like, her boss and is, like, gonna do this whole, like, hey, I need your help. There's this local local officer who's kind of, like, trying to take over this case, right? Mm-hmm. And her boss, he basically says to her, well, kind of, what's your issue with, like, working with, like, the local guys, It's like, well, work with them. They're going to show you the ropes. They know probably the city better than you do and all this. And I think that's, like, in the whole grand scheme of things, like, with her boss, is that's his issue with Ashburn, Sandra Bullock. Because it seems like maybe he was, like, one of those street cops at one point in his life, and that's how he worked those over there. And then you have Sandra Bullock, who seems like she just went the college route, knows, like, everything by the books, Yeah. And she kind of, like, referenced that tons of times. She's like, they thought I was almost the instructor in the driving school and stuff like that, right? So it's like she doesn't have that street smarts.
No,
you know what I mean?
Yeah. No, she definitely doesn't. Again, she was going to walk straight up to a Target in a club dressed in a pantsuit.
Exactly.
And think that she wasn't going to stand out. Like,
and so it definitely sets up like, yeah, he probably doesn't know the extremes of Melissa McCarthy's character, but he's like, work with them. And so that also puts that little like hints on us. It's like, okay, this cop doesn't know the books, obviously, but knows the streets, knows how to work like on the ground level. Yeah. And so when it comes back to Sandra sticking up for her, because you have the DEA guys who are kind of like
making fun of her.
Yeah, making fun of her. It's like, oh, this cop who got arrested is like kind of a terrible person. Yeah. And she's like, but she's a better cop, like, officer than all of y'all. Yeah. She's
very loyal and she's
like, she might not play by the rules, but she does what she needs to do to protect her community.
Exactly.
And that's what you need. And that's like, you see her boss like actually like starting to come around to her, because she's like, okay, she is learning something. Yeah. She's not just still stuck in her ways. Right. And now she's like also cussing up a storm to, because she's defending her friend. Yeah. And she's defending, like, she knows she messed up. Yeah. But she's like, she's a really good officer. Yeah. And more people need to be like her. More people need to bend the rules to catch the bad guy.
It's not always... It shouldn't always be the number one priority to play everything exactly by the book, because sometimes that's just not what you need to do. Exactly. And I think that what did you say? You said something that made... I think we were talking about just, like, Mullins and her loyalty and just doing what it takes to, like, whatever it takes to make sure the people around her are safe. And we see that, I think, when we start to learn a little bit more about her brother's situation and why he's in jail. We learned that her brother had gotten mixed up with the wrong crowds and was starting to help push drugs. And then he started using, and she busted him and put him in jail to get him out of that situation. Despite the fact that, like, that means you're putting your brother in jail, despite the fact that that has now caused a huge rift between her and the entire rest of her family. She did what she had to do to protect her brother, what she felt she had to do to protect her brother.
And, like, it worked. Like, yeah, her family, like, kind of hates her. Yeah. But her brother, like, never did.
Her brother didn't, because I think her brother gets it. Her brother knows what she, like, understands what she was trying to do. Her family doesn't understand. Her family just sees you put your brother in jail.
Those crazy Bostonites.
Those crazy guys. But so anyway, yeah, I think... I like how the characters aren't super... They're not flat. They're, they have facets to them, but they're still believable as characters, because sometimes, like, when you try to, it's not that it happens often, but sometimes you try to push characters a little bit too much, or you try to push their humanity a little too much, and then you end up with, like, does it really make sense for that character? Does it, you know what I mean? But, like, the characters are still very believable, and I think that what they have in common is they both have their own moral code that they are not going to stray from, and that they're very stubborn in their own, in what they believe to be correct, and then they kind of learn to, see the other side a little bit, and yada yada yada, happy. But, like, they're more, I think I'm trying to say, they're more similar than what you might initially see. Their foundations are very similar. It's just the way that they pursue that and the kind of situations that they were in that kind of changed that.
Definitely.
Yeah. You give you lots to think about?
No, yeah, it's definitely a lot to think about. Like, when you're looking at these characters, I'm trying to take in everything you said to add to it, but I'm like, you said it so well.
And that's my fault. I should have left some for you.
Yeah, you gotta leave some breadcrumbs.
I'm so sorry. We're
7 episodes in.
From now on, I'll try to just, like, cast a little line and let you, like, toss the ball up and let you hit it out of the park.
Oh, okay. I was gonna say, I'm a duck. You gotta throw me some bread so I can, like...
I'll do that too. Yeah, whatever metaphor you want, I'll go for it, Mario. Cool. I'm the duck. I'll do that for you.
You're the old man feeding me every now and then.
All right, absolutely. You got it, dude. Whatever you need. Well, that's all I got on this movie. You got anything else?
I love the ending, because I love not like the literal ending, but this little ending that we're kind of looking at on screen here.
Oh, okay.
Because I always love when movies used to do this, that there would be like stuff like they did it in comedy movies like all the time. You have like little extra scenes in the credits and all that.
Oh yeah.
And so I love this little callback to Melissa McCarthy goes and steals Sandra Bullock's neighbor's cat.
Thinking it's her cat.
Yeah, thinking
because
it's her cat.
She sees a picture of Ashburn and the cat, the neighbor's cat, together, and obviously assumes that that's her cat, and so, she doesn't correct her.
Sandra just lies and say, yeah, her cat ran away. It's kind of sad.
Yeah. She's
like, I'm still grieving about it. And so Melissa McCarthy, being the good friend that she is, she's like, I was driving all around New Jersey. I was looking for him, and then I saw him in your neighbor's window, and I was like, I gotta...
Broke in and took the cat.
I gotta get him. I gotta get him back to you.
If Bonnie ran away, would you find Bonnie for me?
I see a lot of dogs that look like Bonnie.
My dog is a very unique looking dog.
Would you notice that your dog is not your dog?
Absolutely.
It's like if Icky ran away. An
you don't
all-black cat.
Okay, yeah. Do you think that if I put 10 all black cats in front of you?
Oh, he's gone at that point.
Really? You don't think that you would be able to tell?
He's gone.
Seriously?
Yeah. Yeah.
We'll need to ask Katie and see if that's what she thinks.
We'll ask her after this.
Because that's crazy. What about Baby? Still, if I put other cats that look just like Baby?
He's very unique. Just due to
because of his markings?
Yeah, because his little shorts that he wears.
Yeah, his little socks, I would say. No, yeah. If you put different dogs in front of me that looked similar to Bonnie, I would immediately know which one Bonnie is.
I'll go wrangle up some dogs.
Bonnie, the camp that Bonnie goes to when I have to board her or whatever has little nanny cams, and I'm looking at 30 dogs at the same time, and some of them are the same general size and shape and coloring as Bonnie. I always know exactly which one Bonnie is. Always. I'll tell, she'll walk by and I'll just see her two little hind legs, and I'm like, that's Bonnie's butt. That's her right there.
I'll put in a casting call for dogs like that, and we'll find out.
We should post on Instagram pictures of our pets.
Yeah.
So that people can see who we're talking about.
In the off season, we'll do that.
Okay. That's fine. You never take any of my ideas.
But that's all I have. That's all you have.
I got too.
I think we set our ratings a little early, but again,
yeah.
I'll add mine, which was, I'll go on your 10-point scale.
Okay, good.
A 7.
Okay. Set an 8.
An 8.
What did you put Bridesmaids at? I don't think we rated Bridesmaids, did we?
We did. I gave it a 4, but on your scale, I gave it an 8. Okay. And you said, I think, an 8 also.
Okay, so you like Bridesmaids better than this movie.
Yeah.
Okay. I mean, that's valid.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I just, I love the whole group dynamic.
The ensemble, yeah, for sure.
This one, obviously, they're strong, but I just felt like it was a stronger movie over there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, for sure. Yeah. For sure. No, this is up. Yeah. Thanks, guys, so much for listening to another episode of Clued and Clueless. If you want to follow me on Instagram, it's at KristenHosty.
And if you want to follow me on Instagram for whatever reason, it's at MER_RIO. And if you're listening on Spotify or Apple, is it Apple Podcasts? Yeah, it's Apple Podcasts, not iTunes. I want to say iTunes at first for some reason. If you're listening on Apple Podcasts, if you're listening on Amazon, don't think Google because I'm still trying to work on that one. But if you're listening on that, or if you're watching us on YouTube, give us a thumbs up. Give us a subscribe. Leave a comment. Cause
rate us, please.
Yeah, you can leave comments on Spotify and stuff like that.
Really? On Spotify?
Yeah, I had no idea.
I didn't know that. As an avid Spotify user, I'm really shocked that I didn't know that.
But yeah, leave those reviews. Really helps out and lets us know what you like. And hey, if you also have movie reviews or movie ideas or TV show ideas or really just anything entertainment wise, you can send it to us at cluedandcluelesspodcast.com. Thanks, y'all. Thanks for watching, and y'all have a great rest of the week.
Bye, guys. Thanks so much for listening to this week's episode of Clued and Clueless. If you'd like to follow us, you can follow us on Twitter at Clued_Clueless, on Instagram at Clued and Clueless Podcast, on TikTok at Clued and Clueless Pod, and on YouTube at Clued and Clueless. Thanks so much for listening, and we'll see you next week.